Hello guys, hello. Try to put my dreads in my face like my dad. That's how he used to wear his dreads. I'm coming out here to show you. I'm going to continue to get more and more. My grandmother is going to be moving from the home she shared with my dad. They stayed in like a two-family flat. My dad stayed in that apartment upstairs, full-blown apartment since he was a teen. Since he was a teenager, I lived up there as well. And then I also finished up college down there. I moved back in there with him. So I've lived with my father. Okay, I love my dad. So he used to help my grandmother garden. My grandmother loved flowers. She was never really like a big like vegetable person, but she would love like plants, like greenery, lots of flowers, and rose bushes. And of course, as she got older, she was older, he would pull and maintain it for her. And he did such like a natural good job at it that his ferns and stuff was growing. So I took a shovel. My grandmother let me see her shovel and I dug some of his plants up. And I'm going to go back down there and get some more because they're going to be moving. So this is what I've been working on. It's not perfect, but I took the plants from my dad's house and I brought them here. Those are his ferns. This is a rose bush that he had from my grandmother. And those are the ferns. These are the ferns here. I've never been really good at growing ferns. So when I saw them like growing like crazy, I'm like, wow, this man had like a green thumb. I didn't even know about it. I just really honor my dad. He always kind of downplayed himself. He kind of settled into a space where he was dishonored a lot of his life. Very gifted man, but very dishonored. And I think he kind of just settled, and he was content in his settling, And so I don't want that to continue in my son and in my grandsons. I want them to find them a nice mate for life, because I believe if my father would have had a nice mate, he would have someone being, staying on top of his health, because I would fuss at him. I would call him and, you need to take care of yourself. And I used to call him when I was tipsy and everything, y'all, back in the day. I did smoke weed with my dad and everything. Okay, we would sit there smoke weed. He put his little music on and stuff like that. Walk barefoot, and he's always been in the yard. He was a dog lover. I got two dogs now, so just seeing some of the things is, fathers bring identity, and my father. Nobody's father is perfect, but I've always known my dad. And I've always loved him. And I didn't talk to him all the time. As you get older, start raising kids and stuff. But he followed me on TikTok. He a fan me on social media. And if you guys don't know, the character that I came up with, Truett Vincent, not the other one, the one that was Anthony, then I turned his name into Rodney. Not the podcaster, but the ladies' man. That's actually a character based off of my dad. So go look on my social media. When I say Truett Vincent, like the little jazzy one, every time I put that little filter on with the beard, I'm like, wow, I look like my dad. I would have been a nice looking son for my dad. So that character is meant to, just show honor to my dad. He was very comical, very funny. We were very, very much alike, more so than his sons. I believe he saw his masculinity in his sons, but personality-wise, and even like our thoughts and stuff like that, his quietness, his introvertedness, but he would be extroverted around people if he was really comfortable. Where he was a ladies' man. Okay, I mean, that man, he was a master mechanic, very intelligent, but his hands was always dirty. And when I went to his apartment, I haven't been up there in like 8 years, because when I would see him, I would be like, hey, Dad, at my grandmother's house, or he would come to where I was at. When I went up there to see where because he passed away in his home, when I went up there to go see, his home, and I'm like, it looked exactly the way it used to. He still got his old fish tank, and I have a fish tank. My love of fish came from my dad. My love of dogs came from my dad. He liked to garden. And I saw his bookshelf. And I just put a bookshelf in my living room. He had a little bookshelf up there, of course, with grease all over it. And he liked to read stuff about principles of life and stuff like this. A lot of things people didn't know. And I think that he just started shutting down and wouldn't tell people anymore, because he was ridiculed at a lot of key pivotal ages in his life. And his father, he didn't meet him until he was much older. So I think that had a lot to do with it as well. And then overbearing. What you doing? He had a lot of overbearing women. I love my grandmother, but she was overbearing, okay? And I think it kind of just broke his spirit and killed his spirit. But he was, 1,000 men and one man. And the women loved him. He would kind of show me up as a trophy. He would, Callie, come out here. And I'd come out there even when I was good and grown in college. That's my daughter. And he would like show me like I was like a accomplishment of his. And for me to go into his apartment, and then he didn't have any pictures of himself. He didn't have no pictures on the walls of himself. He had no pictures. Sorry. He didn't have any pictures of himself there. He didn't have pictures of my brothers. He had pictures of me. He had a picture of me when I went to prom. And he had a picture of me when I went to the Bahamas. Our whole family on that side went to the Bahamas. My cousin got married on a boat. And that's the pictures that he had up there. And for me to see that, this is just, I guess, to let anybody know, you think that you don't matter maybe because you have a distant parent. But maybe they only loved you the best way they knew how. And I'm very grateful that I knew who my father was and I have the identity from him. I wish I could have known tons and tons of more. He would open up at key times and close back up. But I say that to say this. Rest well, Edwin, Christopher Wright, I love you. And I loved you despite all of your faults. You are one of the only men that I've ever loved unconditionally.